other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Yes, good morning. It's Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, and you are welcome to Trends in the Papers. This is the part where we get to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our dailies. Time check right now is 7:40 a.m. All right, I trust we had an amazing week, and I trust that, we are still staying positive. I also trust that we are still keeping the energy up as regards taking care of ourselves, looking out for our neighbor, our friends, our colleagues, our family. Just do something good for someone. Do something nice for someone. Put a smile on someone's face. As, the popular singer said, you also put a smile on your face as well. All right, so many stories to look through this morning. We have our papers, The Punch, The Guardian and Vanguard newspaper, and quite a host of other stories for us to look through. I think it's also very important for us to just quickly take a swipe at some major stories that are making the rounds at this time now. First of which is Taraba State Governor has approved a 70,000 minimum wage. So I guess we'll just, wait for implementation of it. That's a good one. Okay. Governor Kefas has approved 70,000 minimum wage for workers, which of course is the minimum wage that was agreed upon between the NLC and the federal government. Was supposed to have been implemented sometime in April, May, or thereabout. So hopefully there will be some sort of arrears paid. Another interesting story that caught my eye is the deputy governor of Kebbi State says no village under bandits' control. And this was just, when recently we've been having, reports coming from Kebbi and Sokoto states as regards the emergence of the new terrorist group known as Lukarawas that, comprises of international, insurgents. And this is coming as a shock to quite a number of people, with the deputy governor of Kebbi State stating that no village is under bandits' control. What do you think about that? But it's a lot to take in, at this time now. But before we carry on, my name is Omobola Sandra, and I will not be doing this alone. I have Fuhad Sahid, who would also join via the phone line to give his own analysis of the stories that we're going to be looking through this morning. Good morning, Fuhad.
Yeah, good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Okay, that's good. I like it when you're well.
I don't know, I'm just a little bit concerned.
About?
So there's this report that came in. So there's a church, somewhere in Ibadan. They are preparing for their harvest anniversary sometime in December. And, it's, it's a big planning and all of that. And they've bought 2 cows for the planning, and it's going to be a big thing because it's the end of the year, it's an anniversary. For what? People went and stole those cows. See, why would people steal cows meant for church anniversary? Only 2 cows. 2.
The cows were in the church premises or where?
Yes, tied, tethered to, somewhere near the church premises. And
it was stolen.
Yeah, both of them. They didn't even. That's
you tell church members to contribute another money, or you leave it in the hands of God.
But yeah, we'll just eat our rice and just move on. No? But is this a picture? Does it paint a picture of what is going on in this country at this time?
But if the harvest is going to happen in December, I don't know. I think it's too early to buy cows.
Well, we know why they bought the cows early, because prices will go up by that time.
So the option is to keep it with the cow, where the cow is sold. It's always safe there, even the feeding, nurturing and all that.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
an
what a lot of
option.
people do.
That's possible.
So,
Is it possible?
but sometimes we like to show off. I mean, maybe Lara is still there.
No, but is
to
it
get people
possible for you
excited.
to leave
Yeah.
it with the sellers? You can just leave it
Yes,
there.
of course, yes. People do that a lot.
Oh,
They call it Kara now, so you just leave it to them. You paid, they help you nurture it, feed it, and when it's like a day or two
well,
to the occasion, they bring it.
that's brand new
So,
information. I'm glad I brought that up so that people can actually know
so
that.
the chances of it being stolen or anything happening to it is reduced. I do that for Salah a lot, for a lot of our relatives. So we buy, we keep it to them, and when it's close to the day, maybe a day to Salah, they bring it. So people do it a lot.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
It's not easy to take care of cows.
Exactly. I was wondering, what may have been going through their mind, buying the cows and keeping it in their compound and hoping that.
And if the harvest was to happen in December, I think it's just too early to buy cows. I'm not justifying those that stole it. They are thieves, actually.
What's no good is no good. So.
No, but I'm sure, since it's a church thing.
No, it's actually November. My apologies, it's November.
Okay, it's in November. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, there will be an emergency contribution. I'm sure.
Between now and this Sunday.
It can happen. Somebody can even just say, okay, how did the 2 cows came in the first place? Even maybe it was a donation from an individual.
Anyway, the people of Edo State, congratulations to you on the swearing in of your new governor.
A brand new governor.
His Excellency Monday Okpebholo, brand new, and has appointed somebody as his commissioner that has raised eyebrows in different parts of the country.
Why? Why is he raising eyebrows? Are you surprised, Sandra?
It's too early. I feel
But I'll be surprised that you are surprised.
they appointed Oshomoli's son as his commissioner.
So are you surprised about that?
I don't know. I think I'm just more shocked at the fact that he didn't drink water and
Sharp.
exactly.
The money shows the day now, Sandra. Why are you surprised? It's an indication of what is to come. And you see, look, again, things happen and get to a point where people don't care again. The perception people have about these things, and politicians don't care. They don't give a hoot about what you think or what you say. They will do what they want to do. If you like, care from now till tomorrow. Nobody is saying the young man who is a medical doctor, who probably is eminently qualified for the position, should not be appointed. But what about perception management? What is the hurry about, Sandra? On the first day as governor, one would expect that, maybe the chief of staff, the secretary to the government, the backroom staff can be announced, if you understand what I'm saying. A commissioner for health, what's the hurry about? Well, it's just again to show you that, look, they don't care. We'll do what we want to do, say all you want to say. You understand what I'm saying now? The sad part of this whole thing again, Sandra, or maybe the interesting part of the whole conversation, not sad now, is that, look, the guy probably was not even on the campaign trail. The guy that had just been appointed. He probably was somewhere just enjoying himself. The father did all the work for him, and the appointment has come. So the question is for those young men out there who help politicians to insult other people, who help them to carry cutlasses, help them to steal ballot boxes. Look at your love outside. They will always take care of themselves first before you. And at the point when they think of taking care of you, they give you crumbs that fall from the master's table. You now see young men fighting, jumping up and down to become SA, spokesperson. All those kinds of positions. So I don't even think that when you shout on radio like this, you are looking for those kinds of positions. People of low mind. They think everybody is about those small appointments. Life is beyond those things. Do your job well. Continue to make impact in what you're doing. You see, the reality is that, our minds have been so, how do I put the condition to believe that, look, people cannot do the right thing unless they are expecting something. So, again, I don't know. It's just that I think for Senator Monday Okpebholo, the new governor, he should have been a bit more cautious about this appointment because when it comes to governor Sandra, I used to say, a lot of it comes with perception management. Immediately you are perceived in this way, it could smell some problems for him going forward. But we wish him all the best of luck. But again, it's just a lesson for young men out there who are busy jumping up and down on social media, insulting everybody and anybody, and at the end of the day, they get crumbs or even get nothing.
Well, just as you have said, we wish him all of the best. But I mean, it just strikes a chord in some people.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's enough to begin to get to wonder what's going on.
Exactly.
Why the rush?
Exactly. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. I think another, major or hot story was, the visitation of former President Olusegun Obasanjo to Lucky Aiyedatiwa in Ondo State. I think that's also another. Do you have any thoughts as regards that?
Baba is busy moving. Baba has always been moving around. So again,
does this pose as some sort of endorsement or
endorsement? It depends on what he says while he was there, what he had said when he visited. Because again, Baba, people have invited Chief Olusegun Obasanjo to so many places, and I think there are ways of doing that. I won't be saying that on radio, so I'm not. Doesn't come to me as news that Baba was with Lucky Aiyedatiwa. No, recently he even visited the First Lady. So Baba is used to visiting places and making statements. I would have loved to know what he said during the visit. That would be the news for me, but I don't think I have that.
All right. Well, quite a lot has happened. The president is back in the country from Riyadh at the Arab Islamic Summit. It was quite an interesting one as well. He spoke as regards the Israel Palestinian situation, and also the Arab leader as well commended Nigeria as regards the economic reforms. So many things happened. But, welcome back, Mr. President. Moving on now, this is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's time for us to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers. And I'll kick things off with the Punch newspaper. The major headline there reads, Ondo poll, Shettima leads APC mega rally. As Governor Ajayi scams alleged rigging plot. And we have a rider here that says parties inspect sensitive materials today. Atiku campaigns for Ajayi. Ajasin's son backs governor. So there's just a lot, of course, going on in Ondo State. Election is this Saturday, 16th November 2024. And ahead of the governorship election, Vice President Kashim Shettima, governors on the platform of the All Progressives Governors, the Progressives Governors, National Chairman of the party, Abdullahi Ganduje, party stalwarts, will today lead a mega rally, mega in quote, in support of the candidature of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And according to a statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, the rally will be held at the MKO Abiola Democracy Park, Akure, from 10 a.m. And aside from that, there are so many other parties that are also participating in the forthcoming elections, about 17 and thereabout. The parties cleared for the election as released by INEC includes the APC, PDP, Accord, Action Alliance, Africa Action Congress, African Democratic Congress, African Democratic Party, and All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, and other parties. We have the Allied People's Movement, Action People's Party, Labour Party, NNPP, National Rescue Movement, People's Redemption Party, that's PRP, Social Democratic Party, SDP, Youth Party, Youth Progressive Party, and of course, the Zenith Labour Party. So a lot of things, happening. There's a lot of activities. Ondo State is agog with activities at this time. But a statement coming from the PDP issued by its publicity secretary, Mr. Kennedy Perete, alleged that APC leadership has planned to have some of its party members as presiding officers of the INEC for the election. He said, and I quote, the sinister plan by the Ondo APC ahead of the November 16 governorship election has been revealed. The training of presiding officers and assistant presiding officers by the Independent National Electoral Commission is a prerequisite for recruiting such ad hoc staff to function in these capacities. The party chairman has personally submitted a list of 2 persons who are APC members per polling unit to INEC to serve as presiding officers and APOs, even when these persons did not attend the training. The PDP Ondo State chapter wishes to alert the public that the APC is banking on compromising the election at all costs, having failed tragically to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. And that's the statement from the PDP.
I would hope that the PDP is serious about winning this election and stop all this noise and allegations, because these are things politicians do. They know. And, what they've been saying actually has been the resident electoral commissioner.
Of Wirecast.
And nothing has changed in that regard. Even the candidate of the party who was saying what happened in 1983 should not happen, blah, blah, blah. Up to now, the wreck is still the wreck. So the idea of polling units within party members, I don't think it's new to our politicians. They know how these things are done, the way names are submitted, how ad hoc staffs are recruited. A lot of times our party members, like Socrates was explaining the last time, the rec comes into a state, there's no house, no accommodation. The first thing the rec does is to do a courtesy visit to the governor, who welcomes him or her, or tries to provide accommodation. No, don't worry, we're going to make this place comfortable for you. The governor calls the chief of staff. Please make it very comfortable. At the point they provide accommodation, provide logistics and what have you. And then in return, the rec tells the politicians, you have people who are interested in working for us, they submit names. So if politicians are submitting names of ad hoc staff, what do you think they are going to be submitting? So our politicians know how these things. And what I think, for example, the PDP can do is to ensure that they have trusted party agents in all the polling units in Ondo State. It starts with that. When you have solid, trusted party agents who can be bought, who are going to stand and do the bidding of the party, irrespective of whatever inducement that comes, then you are halfway through fighting whatever people that have been planted into the electoral position. But at the end of the day, I think that it's more about how hard we work to win these elections than all of these allegations and of people, politicians being in charge of the electoral process. They know these things have happened, it will happen, and it will continue to happen, so long we are not ready to go into proper electoral reforms. So if they are serious about winning the election, I think they should concentrate on, getting good agents to work for them at the local government level, coalition level, the party, state coalition level. Just get people on ground, really, to defend the votes of that is cast for the party. Without that, they are just wasting their time.
Of Wirecast.
Well, the publicity secretary of the APC, Alex Kalejaye, has said that the party has no reason to compromise the election. That the people of Ondo, they love the incumbent governor Aiyedatiwa, and so they have described the allegation as untrue and baseless, saying they have everything they need. Anyways, Tokunbo Ajasin, son of former governor of Old Ondo State, the late Chief Adekunle Ajasin, has declared that Governor Aiyedatiwa would emerge victorious on Saturday. He said that this is due to twin factors. One, the lack of a strong opposition, and two, the incumbent's ability to provide stomach infrastructure.
So that's the reason he's going to win. you know the origin of stomach infrastructure now, Sandra? The state that started it. If you remember. Fᴜဃᴜᴜ he started the stomach infrastructure conversation. Which was
okay, please carry on. Please carry
on. No, he started in Egypt. Now Fᴜဃᴜᴜ introduced stomach infrastructure, which was basically about just giving people food. It doesn't have to come with any empowerment. Just eat. So I don't know why it's coming into the conversation now. I don't know whether Ondo people too are for stomach infrastructure.
But because according to Mr. Justin, he's saying that or when it was asked that, this is supposed to be a 2-horse race of some sort, he said, oh, there's no contest visible, because according to him, he says that PDP is divided, and so they can't mount a formidable force to knock off Aiyedatiwa, whose party is also in power at the national level. So he says, and I quote, I believe the incumbent will win. Really, there is no opposition. There's no strong opposition. And the APC candidate is the incumbent. The PDP is factionalized. They have not provided enough opposition to be able to knock off the incumbent. I'm expressing the view of what I see. I do not see a 2-horse race. There has been no opposition to APC as such, even throughout the country, except in the Ondo. Except in the Edo election, where there was strong opposition because PDP was the incumbent governor. So PDP has not been up and doing. So if it were the PDP of old, you could say there would be some contest, but I don't see any here. And he said quite a lot of things, because he is of the opinion that ordinarily the performance of the APC at the national level could have some effect, but you know how the way things are. Nobody looks at performance. Is that true? We do not look at performance, Fuad. The Nigerian electorate.
It depends on the standard and the measurement index. Because when it comes to performance, it's actually a relative statement. You would have people who will tell you now that, look, in just about 1 year of age that you are becoming governor, he has done all the best that he can do. You understand? So it depends. Are we talking about the cumulative performance of the APC from the late Akeredolu to this point? Or we're just looking at the short period that Governor Aiyedatiwa has been there as governor. So it's going to be a conversation that will never end, really, when it comes to the issue of performance, really. But I think that the PDP, I don't know how strong they are going to be in this particular election. Because whether you like it or not, I agree with Mr. Jackson that it's a party that is divided against itself. Unlike the APC in Ondo State. Remember that everyone that was against Aiyedatiwa after the party primary are now working for him. So you know that all the governorship aspirants that were all the news
wanted to go to court and all of that, yeah.
All of them. Have you seen anybody in court again? So they are now even working for it. Even if Aᴘɪʲ that was working for the former commissioner for finance, is now campaigning for Aiyedatiwa. You understand?
See, I just threw your own person that you boss.
No, I have been seeing campaign. So I tell you what, I was hoping he was going to be on the round table on Sunday. But he said he had other engagements. I would have asked him that what has changed? That you guys were pumping your chest, banging your head on the wall that no, we're going to court. This will never start. The man is now the candidate and everybody is working for him. So that ability
is a demonstration.
Everyone, are you hearing anybody complaining again? So how the APC is able to bring everybody together to work for their candidate is something that, politically is commendable. I think it's a strength for them. We saw it in Edo State, Sandra. The man that was now the deputy governor was the candidate that was first declared the winner until the second primary was done. And then Senator Monday was declared winner. And then he was going to leave to fight and all of that. But somehow they met in Abuja, resolved their issues, and they were able to work together. While they were putting their house together and working together, you know what was happening in the PDP? Obaseki was not working to Shaibu, they were fighting, everybody was happy. How they thought they were going to win the election, I don't know. And look at what has happened to them now. So I also see that even in Ondo State, I'm not sure the party is that strong, really, to really give a very strong fight in this election. But wait to see how it goes on Saturday.
Well, on the part of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has rallied support, for the PDP candidate Agboola Ajayi, and he has urged PDP members in the state to mobilize overwhelmingly to ensure Ajayi emerged victorious. And he has described the PDP candidate as a consummate politician who had what it took to improve the welfare of its people. And it's 3 minutes past 8. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers, and we're looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, so you can also drop your comments even as the show progresses. Moving on now, still on the front page of The Punch. Federal government services foreign debt with $3.5 billion. That's a lot of money, and that's on page 25. And that's on page 25 of the Punch newspaper. And we also have here, tax panel proposes relief for loss-making firms, and that is on page 30. And that's on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. So you may also want to dig deeper into that. We also have here, grid collapse. EFCC probes electricity contracts. That's on page 18. Okay. And now, just above the masthead of the Punch newspaper, this very interesting story, which I trust that a lot of people are very, very, interested in. Dangote. Ipman members load petrol at 990 naira per litre. So, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria says over 30,000 of its members are set to buy PMS, or popularly called petrol, from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in bulk. And they revealed that the price of petrol from the refinery was 940 naira per liter, and so when you're using ship, it's 940, and when you're using trucks, it's 990. All right, and it was further gathered that the independent marketers might not import petrol again following this deal to begin direct lifting from the Dangote refinery. Forward.
Well, this is the cost from Dangote. We eventually now have a figure to work with after so long, this idea of keeping it secret. 990 for trucks coming into the refinery to load, as independent. That's the deal from the Independent Petroleum Market Association of Nigeria. That's IPMAN.
This is a demonstration.
The conversation will now be how did Dangote arrive at 990? Sandra.
The breakdown.
Again, what you now have is that at the retail outlet now, it's not going to be less than 1,000, 1,100. The calculation also would come in. How do you now determine how much this product will be sold at the retail outlets? What are the additions and subtractions and what have you? But again, when we talk about pricing, people are going to say, oh, Dangote's product is too expensive. I've had people say that thing. And I'm asking, how do you know? What's the basis of you assuming that this product is too expensive? Sandra, if those that are importing it into the country, who probably has the chance of bringing in a less quality product and getting a bigger margin when it comes to profit making, are also using almost the same pricing model, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's extremely difficult for you to just sit back somewhere and assume that Dangote's price is too expensive when you are not, you don't have all the indices. How much is he buying crude? They say he's buying in Naira. So what? He's buying in Naira, but at the dollar rate. You understand? It's not, if he's buying in Naira, is he buying at a discounted rate? Those are the issues. Because people just come, the question is, if it is true that he started to buy crude in Naira, Sandra, he's not buying at a discounted rate. He's buying in Naira. The only thing is that, look, he will pay Naira, but it will still be calculated at the dollar rate. You understand what I'm saying? So what are the other factors and cost of production that has made him to now say, look, if you're loading with the ship, you get at 940. If you're loading with a truck, you get at 990. But for us to even get to the point where we can now begin to have some level of competitiveness in pricing, can we just also fix other refineries? Sandra?
Demonstration of wire.
And the easiest way to even create some form of competition is to fix the state-owned refinery. So that at that point, it's owned by the state, then we can have a situation where we can begin to call for a better bargain when it comes to pricing. And at that point, we cannot begin to see a reasonable reduction in pricing. But if we are still on this area of, there's no subsidy, government is not intervening, everybody do whatever you like, it will be extremely difficult for you to begin to say, look, Dangote's pricing is unfair, unless you have all the indices and all the costs of producing that particular product. But I think what this agreement will do for us is to ensure availability. Sandra, I mean, this will take care of scarcity. It means that we can, drive into filling stations across the country now and get the product. The issue of pricing, I think we'll have to keep it for another day.
Well, thank you very much, Said for that. The IPMAN president, Abubakar Garimi, on a televised program yesterday, has said that the pump price of petrol at its retail outlets will drop following this agreement with Dangote Refinery to lift products directly from the plant. And I think a lot of people are also excited with the information coming in that there's no need for importation at this point now, when we can lift directly petrol, diesel and other petroleum products directly from
the guys that want to import are still importing. These are Ipman guys. There's the
Moman, that's the major marketers. Then you have the Ipman, that's independent marketer. Then you have the Petron retail outlet owners. So
those are push and plenty for that oil.
It's a lot. Anyway. With this update now, IPMAN National Officer said the refinery has provided two different rates for marketers based on their preferences. Just as I mentioned earlier, if you want to use a vessel to transport your product, is 940. If you want to use a truck to transport at the gantry, it's 990. And that is the rate that they have. The difference is because we have to load it and carry it to another part of the state. So either you use vessels to carry these products. There's another one, either
or use your truck.
I use your truck. So for people in Port Harcourt, Warri, Calabar, you can use vessels. They have ports.
They have water there.
Yes, they have ports. All right, because there's no Dangote loading gantry there, so you have to carry it to the private depot, discharge it, distribute it. So that's why you have that disparity. So checks have shown that the new price is lower than the 960, 990 that was revealed by Dangote last week. All right, and notice that
I think crude oil prices have dropped a bit. Maybe that's
globally,
a factor too. Yeah, globally, from around $80-something to I think we're working at $79, $75. So maybe that's also accountable for the little drop in price of the products.
All right. Well, there's a lot to actually take away from this, but just like Ipman, the management of Dangote is also set to meet with Petron, that's Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association, to discuss possible petrol lifting. They said they have already sent a mail through their president to Dangote as regards if they can also do that. And meanwhile, Dangote has also agreed to export more than 200,000 metric tons of its petrol abroad. A report by S&P Global Commodity Insight, quoting an insider source, confirmed that the refinery had signed its first export orders for its gasoline and will begin dispatching the products as soon as the ships arrive. So Dangote is also gearing up for exportation. And that's the report on that one. We can get further details in the Punch newspaper. That's as regards the lifting of direct lifting anyways. That's on page 23 of the Punch newspaper. Now we also have here the army is prepared to bury the former chief of army staff on Friday. That's on page 18. That's on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. And then finally, this also very interesting report that we have here. Autonomy. Federal government, governors, local governments sign agreement. That is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. It's 12 minutes past 8 and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers. We're looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of the Punch, and that is as regards local government autonomy. I have Fuad Sahid with me via the phone line, and the story goes as the Committee on Local Government Autonomy, set up by the federal government, has concluded its meetings and signed the technical document, which is expected to be transmitted to the president soon. So, Mr. Hakeem Ambali, the national president of the National Union of Local Government Employees, made this known yesterday. Let's not forget, sometime in May, the federal government, represented by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, filed a lawsuit to challenge the governor's authority to receive and withhold federal allocations meant for local government areas. And of course, this suit sought to prevent governors from unilaterally dissolving democratically elected local government councils and then establishing caretaker committees, which has of course saw in recent times, local government elections happening in different parts of the country. Of course, there are still major, concerns as regards the modalities and all of that, but local government elections have been held. I think Lagos State is also gearing up. It's okay. Lagos State is also gearing up for its own local government elections, supposed to happen anytime soon. It's a lot of arguments on that one, but what we have as an update from that is that on August 20, the federal government instituted a 10-member interministerial committee to implement the Supreme Court judgment or the Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy. And the members of the committee have the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeyin, and the Governor of the CBN, Olayemi Cardoso. You also have the PAMSEC, a PAMSEC Federal Minister of Finance, Mrs. Lydia Jafia,
This is a
Chairman,
demonstration of
Revenue,
Wirecast.
Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Shehu, representatives of state governments and local government. And their goal was to ensure that local government is granted full autonomy. Anyways, they have finished their meeting and they had to relay their agreements or their thoughts to the president. And that's what this report is giving us as regards this one. Oh yes. Okay, well, that's another part of the story. But then the focus is as regards the implementation of the local government autonomy. Do we see some sort of headway here, Fuad?
I don't know where we're going with this. The committee has met. Of course, there will be recommendations. And what they are going to be submitting to the president, I don't know how that solves any problem. Because basically I think how these monies will now be disbursed as against the initial provision or what is in the provision of the constitution on the joint account. I think it is the modality they are working out. It's not the president. The president is not paying the local government from his pocket. There are constitutional provisions on how these things will be done. And since we are now overriding the dictates of the constitution with the Supreme Court judgment, I think that's why the committee is meeting to now see, because again, what it now means is that there's no joint account again. Whether the local governments will now go and create their own accounts, by which these monies will now be disbursed directly, we'll have to wait to see. But would that give the local government complete autonomy? No. We've said it several Sandra. Autonomy starts with how people are elected into those local governments in the first place. If you understand what I'm saying. Because this idea of election, which is basically selection in reality, is not going to give them that full autonomy. Autonomy is when people know that the people they voted for in that local government are the ones occupying the seat. That's where autonomy starts. So basically what we're just trying to rework is the idea of getting money directly to the local government from the federation account. But what will now happen is that for each of the states, since the governors are still in charge of how these guys have been selected on the pretense that there was an election, these monies, there will still be ongoing solution on how these monies will move. It will happen, Sandra. I'm sure there will be remittances, there will be sharing, there will be recalculation. I've seen the EFCC also talking tough, we monitor which money are they monitoring. So at the end of the day, I don't know the role of the president in this. I think the most important thing is for us to look at the Supreme Court judgment and now to implement it, looking at what has been provided for in the Constitution. And Sandra, remember, when it comes to the issue of the local government, we still have a lot of inconsistencies in the Constitution. We are still seeing state assemblies suspending local government chairmen. Sandra, how do you deal with that? Is that not a level of control? So if there's an ongoing solution, and as a local government chairman, you refuse to abide by that ongoing solution on your allocation, would the state assembly also come to deal with you if they still have that power to suspend local government chairmen? Yes, the governor cannot dissolve. But if we are still seeing situations where assemblies are able to suspend local government chairmen, so where is the autonomy coming from? So I don't know this idea of thinking the president, although there are political implications, I will not go into that conversation this morning, Sandra. There are people who say that, look, all of these so-called Supreme Court judgment, local government autonomy drive, we are seeing from the federal government as political undertone. Some people have said that, look, the idea is to deliberately weaken the governors ahead of 2027. A lot, but if we go into that one, Sandra, we'll not leave this money. We'll begin to raise some other issues. But I think that the most important thing is to see how we can implement the Supreme Court judgment when it comes to direct disbursement of funds to local government for the federal government as against what is provided for in the Constitution, which talks about joint account.
Thank you very much, Said Fuad. I was going to go somewhere, but thank you for bringing it up.
We don't have time.
We don't have time, unfortunately. Let's move on now to the Guardian newspaper. It's 19 minutes past 8, and the major headline on the front page of the Guardian reads: Yuletide offers hope for weak naira amid negative forecast. Good news. So we have riders here. Yes, now good news. Excuse me. So the story is on page 6. We have riders here. Currency volatility index decelerates to 7.4%. Gross foreign reserves crossed $40 billion, first time in nearly 3
Of
years.
Wirecast.
CBN continues liquidity hunting as they cut IMTOs, and we have monetary and fiscal rigidities pose fresh medium-term risks. Of course. Anyways, with the summer holidays coming in and the foreign school tuition payment pressure, they'll pay for school fees for fall. That's in January. Now at their tail ends, market
I think it's ending. That's what the report is saying. That now that pressure will drop and people will come in for Christmas, we should have some form of liquidity.
that the bleeding, yes, that the naira has a breather.
So the pressure to pay tuition, summer holidays is ending, and then we might have people now coming in for the Yuletide. They will bring in their money, come and do 5 years. That's what that report is trying to say.
The homecoming of thousands of Nigerians in diaspora for Christmas celebration also points to an improvement in liquidity in the coming weeks, as of course with historical conjectures, the two factors will play dominant roles in shaping the foreign exchange, especially the parallel market, for the rest of the year. So there's some sort of, respite coming as it is.
How significant will it be, Sandra?
Already, the parallel market is beginning to witness some cautious trading. Some traders are restraining wholesale purchases for fear of a significant tanking of the greenback. All right, that's in the parallel market. Saying that there's some changes already. Some changes are already coming up.
Wait, now don't change anywhere. Don't be deceived by all these permutations. For us to have significant improvement in the value of the currency against in the foreign exchange market, we have to produce, Sandra. It's about a balance of trade. Forget about remittances will come, maybe some. It's going to be marginal, really, Sandra. It can't be that significant for us to now begin to think that there's hope somewhere on this. For us to see some firming up of the naira against the foreign exchange in the foreign exchange market, against the dollar and other foreign currencies, Sandra, we must begin to ramp up production to earn forex. So the people coming for holiday, I don't think it's significant enough. Yeah, we're going to see maybe some stability, marginal improvement there and there, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough. What we should tell ourselves is that what are we producing? What are we exporting? Where is the forex going to come in from? That's what we should be talking about. But the boys are coming in. They will come from abroad, bringing monies. It comes with its own dangers too, Sandra. You know the danger. I've been seeing things on social media about people who come in, especially boys, during this period. You know now.
I just go back.
All these are just got back people.
Anyway,
there are people who have been warning people to be wary of the just got back people.
But the kind of warning has nothing to do with the economy, or has nothing to do with value of the naira.
Personal economy we are talking about now.
That's a different one. Anyways, there are rigidities that are being posed as factors that would discourage the stability of the naira, even if you have some sort of dislodgement or inflow. Thank you. At this time now, fiscal setback, the major of which is corruption. Yes, fiscal setbacks. That's government and all. The major of which is corruption, and then you also have rigidities in the monetary system as well. For instance, the widening premium on parallel market is sending an untoward signal to the international market as it is now. So the report is kind of balanced to say, okay, so we are expecting this, but then this is still on ground. So if this comes in, would this one that is on ground not affect what is coming in?
This
basically,
yes,
that's what the report is giving us at this time. But with the current foreign liability exposure of the CBN largely unknown, there are concerns about the net reserve position even in the international market, with the central bank urged to be more transparent in this regard. So sort of IMF, World Bank IMF conversation is that one. But of course, there's a lot to unpack from this one. The point is, dollar is still at 1,700 at this time, and you have pounds 2,200 at this time now. So that's just the unfortunate aspect of it all. Stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. You can get further details there. We also have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, fund anticipatory climate actions. IRC tells leaders as flooding worsens. And that's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have here House of Reps 6 review of mining consent process as collapsed site kills 13 in the plateau. Yesterday, no, it was not yesterday, sorry. So on Monday, there was, an incident, very unfortunate one.
Scared, but yes, an explosion scare or something.
And so the House of Reps are looking into, consent exactly are the, what the regulatory aspect of it, the health and safety, aspect of it, and all to be looked into. The story that is
the regulators doing their job, really. That's the. Yeah.
The story is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have here on the front page of the Guardian, I have nothing to hide, says Okowa. And that's on page 3, as on the backdrop of the fact that he has been invited. He's having his own fair share of, invitation at this time now.
Sandra, did you read that statement?
If
you read the entire story, very long, but at the end of the day, the spokesperson said a lot of things, abused everybody, blah, 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 and then confirmed that, he's been invited on. The last paragraph now tells you what, and I'm like, what are you saying? When he started, you think that Kuwa had no questioning. They didn't even ask him any question at the EFCC. And then he now tell him, they brought him to answer questions on buying a dominant share in a particular bank and then building estates. Is that not the fact that he has questions to answer?
And they're answering the questions, so after that, there's no more questions. That has answered the question. Yeah, that's.
He said it was ecological funds. He's saying no, there's nothing to. Is it a derivation funds or something?
13%, yes.
But the EFCC now asked him how he was able to buy 80% share in a particular bank and then build estates in Abuja and everywhere. And it's still corruption. Corruption is still corruption. Whether the EFCC is able to now prove this or not, the reality is that look, we just have all of these cases there. And I think Pastor Lokoede, the EFCC chairman, has been more of a talking man than a doing man, Sandra. When it comes to the big masquerade in the house. There's a story you skipped in the Punch where he was saying that they are now investigating contracts in the electricity
I was going there. It's more detailed on the Guardian newspaper.
The Guardian, yeah, I agree. I think the Guardian report is
yes, so that's why I was still going there. That's the last story on the front page of the Guardian that will be taken this morning. As a matter of fact, the headline here: No MDA executed 20% of capital projects, says EFCC amid push for power sector reforms. And that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We have riders here. Olukoyede, Nigerians will shed tears over findings in power sector investigation. Why? No, I would not do that. Kano Disco secures $100 million to develop safe grid for stable power in North. Anyways, the EFCC has announced its intention to conduct a thorough investigation into allegations of mismanagement and corruption within Nigeria's electricity sector. So EFCC chairman, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, revealed this development when he had a meeting with the House of Reps Committee on Anti-Corruption at the Commission's headquarters. And he expressed serious concern over the persistent challenges plaguing the sector. And he assured the committee that EFCC is committed to uncovering any financial improprieties. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because EFCC in recent
Pastor Luko did not tell us what will make us shed tears. We should do what will make us happy. You understand? All the things he has said, there's nothing new. That some people got contracts to buy this capacity of cable, quality of cable, and they bought a lesser quality.
Lesser, yes.
Is it new to you that our contractors do things like that? Are we surprised? Are we going to be surprised to the point where we're going to shed tears that some people got money that did not do the job? That's news in Nigeria when it comes to how contracts are awarded and the corruption that comes with it. What Mr. Lukoyede should do is to stop talking and begin to do things that will now see Nigerians say, pastor is working. And what is that thing? Let us begin to see diligent prosecution of those people. It should talk less and do. It's more of talking. The Ayabelo is still there, talking. At the end of the day, where are since he has assumed that office standard, what has been his major achievement when it comes to prosecution of the big monsters? who are selling the nation's resources. So if I tell you what we've uncovered in the past sector, we shed tears. Who is going to shed tears? Because we don't know. It should now begin to do things that will make us happy and say, wow, this man is working.
Well,
have you seen anything that indicates that he's really working?
Well, wait. Okay, no. I wanted to mention one, but that was a mirage. It was a mirage. But anyways, just to
where is the
Wirecast.
Are we asking Mr. Olukoyede, or is that
we should ask him now?
Is that to the air? Okay, we're asking it. Anyways, Mr. Olukoyede has quite a lot to do. He has a lot on his plate. Anyways, and because he has reviewed that over the past 20 years, no ministry, department, or agency of government
20% of capital projects, Sandra,
has executed up to 20% of capital projects outlined in their budget, and he identified this lack of project implementation as a significant hindrance to the country's
but did they get the money?
Development. They got the money.
But it not go up to 20% of the project.
So it's affecting our budget.
Okay, so and that information that he's telling us, what are we supposed to do with it?
So that we can know.
And then after we know, what will that happen?
We'll shed tears.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, very good.
That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Speaking of shedding tears, as we wrap up this morning, because we have totally run out of time, Fuad, I don't know if you saw this, report, the Northeast Development Commission 2024 budget. Did you see that?
I've not seen it.
Okay, so
What's with them?
the 2024 budget for the Northeast Development Commission is 131 billion naira, and salary is 126 out of this 131.
For a development commission,
So
there's supposed to be more about capital projects.
So are they there to pay salaries? What's
Is
happening?
that not what you have seen?
131 billion is the total budget, and then
Budget for a development commission.
Salary is 126. That's your
The
budget.
remaining is for what? To sing borrows.
Overhead is 0 billion, and then capital expenditure is 4 billion. Look at that.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a wrap. Thank you very much. That's a wrap for Trends in the Papers for this on Mainland 98.3 FM. Please stay tuned. Please, nobody should cry. We're all in this together. So help us God. We'll all be fine by God's grace. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.